Hey, what's going on, you guys? I'm finally here doing the review that I've really wanted to do for a while. I knew that this one might be a little bit longer than my other reviews because there's a whole lot of things that I really need to talk about with this album. This is Gotye, Making Mirrors. I first heard of him like a whole lot of other people probably have. My roommate sent me the music video for somebody I used to know, and I fell in love with the song. It's actually continued to just climb and climb and climb up the charts. So I think this is a really good thing for an indie artist like him. I've even heard that it's starting to get some radio play now, so that's pretty cool. So if you haven't heard that song, go and listen to it right now. Somebody you used to know, you'll fall in love just like I did. But what I really want to talk about is the rest of the album, because besides that song, this album is just like drowned in influence for me. There's a whole lot of songs on here that remind me of certain like images or maybe certain other bands. And I just think it's kind of neat because he does it in such a way of where he's not like ripping off anybody, but I could definitely hear that he might have heard this style a whole lot of times before. The album starts off with Making Mirrors, the title track, and it's basically just a little intro track. It's just about a minute long, quiet little soothing intro. You can really feel the emotion in it. He's really good at making emotional music. He's kind of like Coldplay, except not so atmospheric. Just his voice carries more of the emotion than the instruments do. After Making Mirrors, you have Easy Way Out, which is like a little 2-minute and 30-second rock jam, which is pretty cool, but it's probably my least favorite song of the album, just in the way how he kind of like whispers the verses, but he has a really loud chorus. That's kind of a weird dynamic for me because the music is so upbeat, but it's still a really good song. I mean, I'm not going to totally hate on it. And then we have Somebody I Used to Know. A song that, you just have to turn up and just sing along to. It's really fun to sing, that's another reason that I really enjoy it. Eyes Wide Open is the next song on the album, and it's really emotional in itself. It's probably my third favorite track on the album. It has a really driving drum beat to it, and it has some really emotional lyrics and some really neat instrumentation. There's like a slide guitar in there. Smoke and Mirrors is my second favorite song on the album. The instrumentation of that is really cool. There's a few horns in there. And it's one of those songs that just makes you think, oh man, I really hope this doesn't end in like 3 minutes. And luckily it's one of the longest songs on the album, so I really like that one a whole lot. You should definitely go check that one out. And now we get into my main influences. The next 3 songs on this album all remind me of certain other things. The song I Feel Better starts off with like a horn section that reminds me a whole lot of when Dorothy and the gang first found the Emerald City in The Wizard of Oz. And the rest of the song kind of reminds me of like beach music. I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to describe, but it reminds me of something. Maybe there's another song that I've heard before, I just can't remember what, but the rest of the song just kind of feels like a beach music tune to me. I don't know why. It's just a piano rock, but it's a good song. The song In Your Light reminds me of something that a modern day train would write.
Get up in the morning, I can't keep it in. Myself and I could jump out on my skin. Wanna break the door down just to greet the day. There ain't nothing that's more certain to keep my blues away. And I say, it's kind of funny. I mean, it really does have like a train feel to it. It reminds me of some of their most recent singles. It's kind of makes me laugh. The song State of the Art kind of has a really reggae feel to it with a few little cool like horn sections in there as well. His voice for the verses has been manipulated to sound kind of robotic. The song is actually about using electronics to make music, which is really interesting. But with the reggae influences, I can really like hear like the Police doing this a whole lot. Home entertainment revelation.
State of the art. Listen to the difference.
Even with the weird vocals, I mean, I know the Police have kind of delved into manipulating their voices too in their music, so that whole song kind of reminds me of something the Police could do. Don't Worry, We'll Be Watching You is a really quiet and creepy track, but it's really cool instrumentally in the way that it kind of drives on. very quiet, but it's really kind of creepy in a way. And kind of a protective song. I kind of like the lyrics in it too. Giving Me a Chance is another really slow song. It kind of has a sad message to it, but it has a whole lot of the same characteristics as Don't Worry, We'll Be Watching You. Like I said, it doesn't sound anything like it. It's just another down-tempo song, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. Save Me is the last upbeat song on the album. It kind of has like a chant type driving melody to it at the very beginning that just kind of stays throughout the song. The song Brunt at the very end, it's a really, really awesome way to close an album. It has one of the catchiest, most emotional lines that I've heard for the ending song of an album. It's really soothing to sing along to, and it really sends the album off on a really good note. While a few songs on here kind of go from depressing to getting happier again, like on the song I Feel Better, the emotions kind of range a whole lot in this thing, and it all carries out through his voice mostly. He has a really interesting musical selection that just enhances the emotion in his voice. He can read you in a really good way. He can really produce an emotional album, and I think that's what I like so much about him, that he's able to communicate that so well in his music. So Making Mirrors is an awesome album. There's only like minimal complaints that I have with it. I mean, like I said, the song Easy Way Out feels kind of pointless to me, like he just needed something else to put an extra 2 minutes onto it. But it's not bad, I'm just saying, it doesn't really go anywhere. And the song In Your Light, I feel like, is a tiny bit too long, because it gets a tiny bit too repetitive right there at the end, but there's nothing really, it's not that bad. I mean, it's not as bad as friggin', Reign of Terror repetitive. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. It's a little bit more entertaining than some of my other reviews. Go pick it out. It's a great album. Making Mirrors by Gotye. He's a great indie artist. Support him. He does a really good job. So, see you guys later. On a quick side note, thanks a whole lot to the new subscribers. I've been slowly gaining more and more subscribers. It's been kind of a weird thing for me. Like, my videos aren't really that great of quality. I'm just kind of doing what I feel like on this channel. I don't really have any main theme or anything like that. If you've noticed, I've never been like, hey, subscribe, like this video. Like, I never do that, just because I use YouTube more for fun than I do for getting any sense of popularity on it. That doesn't really concern me as much, but thank you still, though. I really appreciate that. Once again, if you want to subscribe to me, I would love you to. I mean, yeah, don't feel like you have to, though. It's not that bad, but thanks to those who did.